Namaste, MS Warriors. Now that I have the children distracted, I should be able to get this recorded. The road so far. About 28-30 months ago, I started having huge feelings of fatigue, more often than I was used to. It turned out to be a tooth abscess and needed a small root canal, if there is such a thing. Not the biggest problem, but did require major dental work, and I despise needles. Come December 6th, I get in the chair, needles, root canals performed, I was told everything went great. Took some antibiotics, and back to work I go. My appointment with a general practitioner was quickly followed up, and again, things looked good. All previous problems with NRG and everything else that was going on in my life, we've passed off to the tooth and the abscess. Mid-January rolls around and I get my first real taste of absolute fear. My right side of the face, gone, just fell right off. I ran through the stroke checklist, and besides my face falling off, I seemed relatively fine, so, I did what every responsible adult does. I went for lunch with my wife and spent the next couple hours talking about whether I was having a stroke or not. A trip to the ER was in order. They scanned my skull, tell me it's not a tumor, a clot, or MS because they see no lesions, no tumors, and no clots in their scans. More meds, antivirals this time, some steroids along with that, and I'm off to see my general practitioner and back to work again. A few more weeks and it's early February 2019. Some wackadoo goes absolutely bananas on me at work, and I need a month off for stress leave. Off to a therapist, several visits later, I'm not absolutely freaking out and terrified of this wackadoo, and I'm back to work. In March, the wackadoo gets a student to file a disciplinary claim against me, and I'm in a major meeting. Major stress, but of course I had this great therapist who helped me figure out what I'm supposed to do. We're now in April 2019. The fatigue is back, and I'm really fighting to stay moving outside of work. At work, I am pushing myself just to be absolutely not a useless tit. I assume I have another bug or a virus, nothing to worry about. More into April, I lose my position as a care aide. I was a care aide. The way the union works, you hold temporary positions and major positions, and I lost my temporary position, but I did find a major position in another town that had a beach and donut shop. May hits me with more major tooth pain in the root canal tooth that's not supposed to be able to feel anything. Into the dentist, turns out the root canal didn't take, something I didn't even know was possible. So I'm having a reverse root canal scheduled. I have no idea what that is, but off to the next dentist. June 5th rolls around and they remove a 10mm cyst of poison from my face. We all assume that's the actual problem. They do some bone grafts and back to work, but something odd did happen on my trip into the reverse root canal. My 1 foot jumped, if I can call it that. I went to step on something and it didn't quite land right. It kind of bounced. I go back to the general practitioner and fail the neurological exam. This is a strength and balance test, and just do I follow along. Failed so terribly, they pulled me off of work indefinitely and removed my driver's license, as I'm apparently not fit to be driving anymore. Off to a neurologist. I have depression. Go see a therapist. He thinks I'm too tired. I need a sleep study. This goes August, September-ish. No real anything. October rolls around, and I get what's called optic neuritis, I believe it's called. My voice is getting weak. My eye hurts. Just a general unpleasant feeling. This bumps up my MRI that I was supposed to get back in January for the Bell's palsy to November, because optic neuritis mixed with all my other problems is a major red flag, because apparently the optic nerves are actually part of your brain. News to me, but cool to know. MRI comes back and 20 plus lesions, all with black holes, and my neurologist says fibromyalgia. My amazing general practitioner pulls some strings and gets me into the MS clinic because they seen something much different. January 7th, I'm up to the MS clinic. Sit down and they tell me I have full-blown multiple sclerosis. Mild to moderate. I'm good at faking tests, so I have no idea how well I am doing. With the now confirmed case of multiple sclerosis, I am quickly shunted into treatment. I'm offered several treatments, and it's basically whatever they can start treating me for the fastest. To Sabri. So now one of my biggest fears of having multiple sclerosis has happened, and now one of my biggest fears of having a monthly injection happened. From January 7th to mid to late February, things are progressing as painful and nobody knows what's going on. And then they hook me up and pump me full of a chemical that's so toxic the nurses have to wear full PPE and not get it on their skin. But we're going to pump that into my veins. So that is our road so far. And a very namaste to all of you too.